Because if you
I
do
think
it,
this one was the one from there.
because it's this one.
But that's a wide one.
Yeah, it goes to that door. I know, because I got it from that door.
Yeah, I didn't remember it being like that.
So, and if I don't, that door comes, and then that door,
Have a nice quick meeting.
I'm gonna grab that
Meeting starts at 8, right?
one. Yeah. Yep.
Hopefully not. Yeah, be a nice quiet meeting.
Tomorrow's my birthday.
Damn insurance company spent more money on tests.
I have a planning commission meeting.
Hey, Wally, I'm starving, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, my fingers are dirty, does that count?
Yeah, I know, and you get the group Monday.
Mine's on a Sunday this
The
year.
other things in the list.
In fact, I'll be coming back from Minnesota.
Are you making plans for garden club or not?
Cousin South Carolina. He's everywhere. Bears. That's a whole week. I finally caught him.
Yeah.
I've been to Minnesota, but I've never been to
Ultra
one house.
and, Badlands. I just love them. Everything I see is just like,
Knock the flag over.
Welcome to the May 15th regular session of City Council. Would you please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Clerk, call the roll, please.
Spinks,
Here.
Janudis,
Here.
Fluharty,
Here.
Smith,
Here.
Asbury,
Here.
Saunders.
Here.
We have no minutes for approval tonight. We will go right to the old business. Ordinance number 31-23.
Amending chapter 123 of our codified ordinances entitled Rules of Council of the City of Bedford, Administrative Code, and declaring an emergency.
I have a motion for suspension by Asbury, second by Saunders. Call the roll, please.
Spinks,
Yes.
Janudis,
Yes.
Fluharty,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Asbury,
Yes.
Saunders,
Yes.
Cochee.
Yes. Motion for third and final by Spinks, second by Janudis. This is our third reading of the rules of council that we went over toward the end of last year, the beginning of this year, and we spent a lot of time doing that. And to bring them up to date with the changes that were made by our Charter Commission, and some of them needed to bring up to date because some of the rules from 1932, but some of those from 1932 were still effective, so we left those alone. But probably the biggest thing that will affect the most people is the fact that in the first meeting in September, we will be doing our council meetings at 7 p.m. With that, call the roll, please.
Spinks,
Yes.
Janutus,
Yes.
Fluharty,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Asbury,
Yes.
Saunders,
Yes.
Cochee.
Yes. Reports. Mr. Malice.
Thank you, Mayor. A couple things regarding some upcoming programs. We do have the Memorial Day Parade, which will be taking place later this month on the 29th. That will start at 10:15 prompt, at 10:15 a.m., and it will begin at Bedford City Hall. We'll make our way to the square for a ceremony, and then ultimately to the cemetery. So again, that event starts at 10:15 a.m. I also want to mention that the month of June is free permit month through the building department, and that is, we will be waiving all of the permit fees for residential building projects, exterior only, and for owner-occupied homes. So if you're looking to get something done, schedule it in June.
Still need to get a permit.
And you still need to get a permit, and your contractor still needs to be registered. Thank you, Mayor. Also want to mention that we do have this coming Wednesday, the pre-construction meeting for Broadway with ODOT, and the contractor, which is, contractor for the project is Shelley. That is scheduled this week. We'll be participating in that pre-construction meeting, at which point we'll then get all of the details as far as start date, location. Are they starting at the Oakwood Broadway or Oakwood Bedford border, or are they starting at the Bedford Maple border? We'll get all of those details, and once we have that information, we'll be putting that out on our website, social media, and sharing it obviously at the public meetings. I also want to mention that the fire departments, on our website and social media, we've put up the Be the Beat program that our department is going to be offering. And it's a free hands-only CPR training. That's going to be taking place at Ellenwood on Saturday, June 3rd. And there's 3 sessions that you could choose from, 8:30 a.m., 10 a.m., and 11:30 a.m. And no registration is required. So if you're interested, check that out, Be the Beat program. Kudos to our fire department and our leadership. Obviously, every second counts when you're dealing with cardiac arrest. And lastly, I just want to mention that the city officially closed on the first transaction in Tinkers Creek Commerce Park. Cleveland Tank and Supply acquired approximately 5 acres, and we are now reviewing their plans to start construction, which we hope to be moving dirt within the next 30 to 45 days.
Good.
End of report.
Thank you. I might mention on the CPR that the fire department's doing, they just did a session for our church. And I just encourage everybody to go out. It's all hands, no mouth to mouth on it. And it's strictly a quick, immediate help if somebody has a heart attack. And it was very, very simple to learn. A lot of people hesitated when they do mouth to mouth. Chest compressions are vitally important, and Stephanie over at the fire department did a great job on teaching us the other night. So I would encourage anybody and everybody to get over there and learn it. Mr. Montello.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I just want to publicly congratulate Nick Papa for winning the municipal judge seat. He will be the next municipal judge for the next 6 years. Judge Melling is retiring it. Well, he can't run again, so his last day will be the December 31st, I believe. So we will miss him and congratulate Judge Papa. End of report.
Excuse me. Excuse me.
Go ahead.
That's okay, I have no report this evening, thank you.
Oh. Wow. Excuse me. reports. Mrs. Spinks.
I give you first if you.
Oh, Wally went first last week.
Doesn't matter. Anyway, welcome everyone. I just want to give a quick shout out and a congratulations to Larry Zilbert, which is the owner of the Cleveland Jewelry Exchange on Northfield, right beside Mazda. And he just celebrated 35 years in this city. He's moved probably up 4 or 5 times, but in that 35 years, he's always remained right here in Bedford. So he's originally from Beechwood, but he started out in jewelry business in 1988, I believe. Or no, it's a little bit sooner than that. And then he stayed here. He decided to go in his business, and I believe on the 30th one, we gave him a proclamation. We didn't have time. He just called me and told me and reminded me about it. Also this weekend, I see Dot just came in, is the Bedford Garden Club plant sale. Dot's our president. So that's gonna be at Ellenwood. What's the times again, Dot?
Friday from 1 to 7, and Saturday from 2 to 10, from 10 to 2.
So make sure you stop by and get your annuals and your perennials and anything else you need.
10% discount, right?
Okay, yeah, all right, that's good. And this weekend I had spoke to Mr. Malice, Mike Malice, about this past weekend, of course, with prom. It was a drag strip down several of the side streets, down Willard, down Grand, down several other streets, even Granite Croft. Kids, I guess, either rented these fancy cars, and it was crazy. I was talking to Mike, and we do have one of the speed signs right now, and I asked him the question, because I asked him, does it catch them going both ways? Because if it doesn't, it's right now, it's just got them if they're coming off of Broadway going down Grand. So this weekend, they were going the other way, so he's gonna check into that to see. But it's real dangerous. These kids don't realize that. You know, they're lining up. They think it's just a second of a joyride can really cause something, lose control or something, and then just mess up the rest of your life. So also we had a situation this weekend with some young kids on Thames at about 9:30, 10 o'clock. Thought it would be real fun to go up and bam on people's doors and windows at 9:30, 10 o'clock. You know, when we were young, we would ring doorbells. I did because I lived out in the country. That's not cool anymore, because there's people, people that are recovering from something, or are sick, or work third shift or something, they're sleeping, or there's gun owners. And if you come banging on the door of the wrong person, it's just not, parents, you just gotta tell your kids that's not cool. It's just, it's unsafe, but I'm just asking the parents out there and the kids, don't do that. Please don't do that, because it's just not smart. That one mistake, second of just thinking you're being cool, and it's not cool. It's not nice to the homeowner either, and it's scary for some seniors and stuff. I had a couple seniors call. I happened to be out at that time at night at a friend's house and saw the kids doing it. And it started out to be 3, and then there was 10. Well, where are these parents? Your kids. It's always a rule I always heard, of course, again, grew up in the country, but when I was younger, when those street lights came on, you went home. You weren't out, roaming the streets at night. So just asking your parents, gotta be aware, and kids out there, it's not cool, don't do that. It's not good. So, in a report.
Thank you. Mr. Janutus.
Thank you. First, I'd like to say that the Saturday was the Chocolate Walk in downtown Bedford, and the Bedford Downtown Alliance did a great job. It was just so cool, I'm telling you. This is the, I think, 5th or 6th year, so it's a tradition, 5 years. And it's really neat because, well, I don't know what would bring hundreds of people onto the street on a Saturday in downtown Bedford, but the Chocolate Walk did it, and I think the interesting thing about it for me was it gave me an opportunity to go into all these businesses that I would never have gone into and see what they have there and whatnot, and all the owners were, very nice So it was just a really fun time, so congratulations to them. Ward 2, the spring is here, and I couldn't be happier. My hands are dirty, and they'll be dirty until December probably, and I think Ward 2 looks really good. Everyone's doing a really good job keeping their yards up, and the litter and the trash, I think, is, everyone's doing a good job. There are some yards that aren't cut, but you just gotta have the patience, because the city of Bedford is on top of the grass cutting. Sometimes I get calls, and I have to tell you, and I always pass along the calls that I get from people, and 9 times out of 10, when I call the city manager about an issue at a certain property or something, 9 times out of 10, they already know about it. And he'll say, oh yeah, we know that, and that person's cited and whatnot. So the same thing with the grass. The Bedford's on top of it, and the lawns will get cut. Tinker's Creek Converse Park, I don't know if anyone knows about that, on the other side of Shawnee. That has been empty forever, and now finally, lo and behold, there's going to be buildings going on there, and it's really something. It's a big deal. The way it came about was, I can't even get into it because it's such a complication of taxes and other legal matters, and it was just amazing what transpired. But all of a sudden, building, and I think it's a wonderful thing. And then finally, the one thing coming up here in new business is an ordinance authorizing the city manager to sign an agreement of a gift. And this has to do with, I'm sure there'll be more talk by Mike here shortly, it has to do with the city of Bedford essentially giving a large chunk of land to the metro parks to develop, and it really makes me think of this. And so often we think of the decisions that are made in the city as based entirely on revenues, based on the bottom line. How could the city make more money out of this or that? We favor this business because they have more employees, we'll get more income or whatever. But this is an interesting situation, because Bedford could have sold that for and made the money on it. They own the property, but the agreement with the Metro Parks is just going to be, it's going to be more valuable than selling that as real estate. It's going to be more valuable to the city, and it will be a legacy, and it will be enjoyed by people who live here for generations to come. And there's not a dollar amount you could put on it, but I can tell you what the city is going to get out of it is going to be worth times more than the value of that land as real estate. Oftentimes we think of our history in Bedford that only has to do with the buildings, but really our history is much more rich than just only the buildings. Our history in Bedford has to do with sceneries and vistas and homes and yards that are historic, and their natural resources. So this would be an opportunity, and I think Mike will talk about it more, that it'll just open up a vista to the river that we've never had before, and it's just going to be, it's going to be the greatest thing. So, end of report. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Fluhart.
Everything is good up on the hill. Good report.
Thank you. Mr. Smith.
I would just like to say, welcome to everyone, whether you're here or on our channel. Thanks for everyone who attended the Ward 2, Ward 4 Ward meetings. I was told that it was a good meeting, since that being my first Ward meeting. I have to take that as it was. Let me see where am I? In June, next month, June 19th, the Juneteenth celebration will be at Bearcat Stadium. Plenty of food, fun, some good activities. We've involved the schools, many of the students will be entering oratory contests. Also, one of the speakers at the stadium will be Bessie Lee. She will be talking about the Historical Society and trying to drum up some participation from the community and our students. I think that's one way that we could keep up on the historic history of the city by having the children do some type of reports or whatever. We're trying to go through the schools to have the history teachers say, hey, why don't you connect the students with Historical Society and make it mandatory or so for them, or a certain amount of them, to do reports on the city and how it was founded or who lived here or whatever. Because I know there are still some things that the Historical Society doesn't know that they would like to know, and it'll give them some time to do some of the things they want to do by having our students actually do the footwork. Thanks. End report.
Thank you. Mr. Asbury.
Thank you, Mayor. Wally brought up the chocolate walk, which was this past Saturday, and this has been in the planning for several months now. We take a break during the winter, and then in January, February, get together and start planning the chocolate walk. This is with the 5th annual. BDA would like to thank all the businesses that stayed open and were chocolate stops. I believe we had 25 or 26. All the volunteers, because without the volunteers, this wouldn't have happened. All the donations, we had 60 prize pools, we had 7 main prizes, and the vast majority were donated. Without the donations, without the volunteers, without the businesses, we couldn't have done it. And thank you to everybody that purchased tickets. I think we had 160 or so walkers. So this was a really good event, and it's pretty much kickoff of our downtown for the almost summertime, springtime. BDA's next event will be the first Friday of the year, and that will be June 2nd, Friday, from 6 to 8 p.m. on the square. And the theme is Once Upon a Time. I'm going to read the ad because I will never remember it. Once upon a time, in a downtown not so far away, lived princes and princesses who liked pizza. They liked pizza so much that they declared to have a pizza party. I missed my picture up. Dress in your royal best and enjoy a free, family-friendly evening in the land of Bedford downtown. A special pizza party will be held on the Commons along with the make-and-take craft for your young royalty. And there will be special guest appearances by Rapunzel and Flynn Rider. You're liking that. Chipper service next week. The next chipper service will be June 5th through June 9th. Make sure to call ahead and get on the list. Just got a post a little while ago that I want to mention. The Bedford Boy Scout Troop 399 this Saturday, May 20th, from 8:30 a.m. to 11:15 a.m. at the Lutheran Church of the Master at 860 Northfield Road, which is right next to Giant Eagle. They are collecting gently used clothes or small household items. And I guess what they do is they take these and they donate them to local thrift store, and they get paid per pound. So if anybody has cleaned their attics, cleaned their garages, you've got some gently used clothes or small appliances, please think about donating them this Saturday from 8:30 a.m. to 11:15 at the church next to Giant Eagle. Mike, are we still on schedule for the pool house being open?
Yeah, pool house, we haven't set a date yet. Our initial hope was that we would open earlier than we did last year. Last year we opened middle of June. Our challenge this year is getting our guards trained. Last year we were able to use the high school. that facility is not available, so we need to make sure that our project finishes, and then we need to allocate some time for our guards to get trained. So we're probably still looking at middle of June, but we'll have an official date hopefully within the next week or so.
Good. And I want to thank you and the service department. I know you can't talk about it too much, but 201, 203 West Glendale got cleaned up last week. Hopefully it stays that way, and we'll see how that goes. Let's hope. And last but not least, Ward 5 and 6 ward meeting will be here 7 p.m. next Monday, May 22nd. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Saunders?
know one thing about being last, everything's been said almost, but that doesn't stop me. Just wanna say that Ward 6, if anybody's been driving around Ward 6, you've noticed, we've got quite a bit of construction going on right now. The water line replacement on Harriman has tied up everywhere from Lincoln all the way down to Washington. And they've already started laying the temporary water line down Ennis, which will also go down the dead-end stretch of Logan. Which brings up the question, are we prohibiting parking on Ennis and the dead-end stretch of Logan? Because even yesterday, not yesterday, 2 days ago, FedEx couldn't get down the street because of parked cars on the street because of the temporary water line in the street.
Yeah, there will be no parking, no on-street parking, and we'll be posting that shortly.
Okay, good, because the FedEx guy wasn't exactly happy because the delivery was at the end of the street and he had to walk all the way down. Anyway, you would think common sense would tell you not to park there because you're gonna be well over a foot away from the curb to begin with those temporary water lines going down the curb lines. But I guess common sense sometimes doesn't necessarily equate to things that you would think. Anyway, the other thing is today is National Police Appreciation Day. President John F. Kennedy started this way back in his time. Designated May 15th is a day to honor our police, what they do, what they've done, and the sacrifices that they've made. So actually, a lot of areas celebrate it most of the month, but today is the actual day itself. So if you run into any of our police, thank them for the job that they're doing. It is a rough job, no matter which community you're in. And sometimes, especially it seems like these days, it's a thankless job, but they are appreciated. So, one quick question, which I know you probably don't know yet. The Union Street Viaduct that's being replaced as a bridge, they are putting sidewalk on that, aren't they? The new bridge?
Yes, there will be sidewalks, and we actually requested for them to be widened to the max width that they're able to do. So that, I believe they're gonna be wider than what is there now.
Okay, because, well, they won't have the lookouts that are on the current
No,
viaduct, but-
there will not be the lookouts. It'll be stamped to where it'll give that stone appearance. You know, that's what obviously we're pushing for. I still believe that the earliest that'll start is in 2024, next year. And that project will last approximately a year, but we're not even there yet. So who knows, it could get pushed back further.
Well, we don't want it to some degree this year, because with Northfield Road Bridge starting in a few months and Broadway being torn up most of the summer, we don't need another main route cut off for the time being. So that's good to hear. So, because with our proposed plans and everything that are going on with Metro Parks, Bedford Falls and so forth, we want to make sure that we have the walkability from a lot of the different neighborhoods, and that will work out really well. Thank you.
Thank you. And again, a reminder on the Memorial Day Parade, and to remind people that it is a solemn parade, no candy, no sirens, no horns. It's just totally out of respect to those men and women who gave their lives for this country. and we want to respect them. We have a nice ceremony at the Commons, and then we march all the way down to the cemetery for a keynote speaker. It's a great afternoon, and it's been going on for over 150 years. So I want to keep that going. Okay, get back to business. Ordinance number 40-23.
Authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract with North Coast Two-Way Radio for technical improvements to the municipal complex center and declaring an emergency.
A motion for suspension, Spinks, second by Fluharty. Call the roll, please.
Spinks?
Yes.
Janutus?
Yes.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Asbury?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes.
Motion for third and final, Saunders, second by Asbury. Mike?
Yes, we're working, within our police department, we're working to acquire all new portable radios for our officers. We're currently on the 420 band and we'll be switching over to the 800 band. In order to do so, we need to eliminate a number of dead spots within this complex, in our jail area, in the basement, and these IT upgrades will accommodate that. We did receive 2 quotes, and North Coast Two-Way Radio was the lower of the 2. We've worked with North Coast before. What we'd like to do is get these improvements completed first before we start the process of switching over.
Thank you. Questions?
Mike, this is all digital, I'm assuming, and digital in a, how would you say, major emergency usually goes out. So we are keeping the old systems in storage, I would hope, just in case something of that nature, God forbid,
Be able
happens.
to communicate if we needed to.
Okay.
Thank you. Call the roll, please.
Spinks?
Yes.
Janutus?
Yes.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Asbury?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes.
Cochee?
Yes. Ordinance number 41-23.
Authorizing the city manager to sign an agreement of gift by and between the City of Bedford Land Reutilization Program and the Board of Park Commissioners of the Cleveland Metro Park District and declaring an emergency.
It's our wish to put that on first reading, but before we do that, Jennifer, can you give us a quick rundown on that? Mike on this one?
Yep, thank you, Mayor. The city years ago acquired approximately 9 acres, which was the former Taylor Chair site, which 6 of those acres is adjacent to Viaduct Park. It was initially planned to be residential townhomes. As Wally had mentioned, there were a number of home builders since the city acquired it that was interested in building approximately 10 to 12 homes and purchasing the property from the city. We held off on that. We long talked about one of our assets in Bedford is the park system, and how do we expand that, connect to the park system. And through our discussions with the Metro Parks, we came to an agreement to where the city will be donating, as this agreement states, the 6 acres at Taylor and Willis that runs along Tinker's Creek. And in return, the Cleveland Metro Parks will be, the agreement outlines their intent to construct what is referred to as a 4 seasons facility. It can be used winter months, summer months, heated, and it's a reservable space for the public. The city will have access to that space and that facility for 24 dates throughout the year for events, for presentations, if it's ward meetings, State of the City, senior club events, anything that we choose, with the idea of expanding programming through Parks and Recreation to use that. We did request that they include an addendum in the agreement of a similar facility to put a comparison to of what they intend to construct. And that facility that they are comparing it to is a four-season facility in the Jaga Park District, which is at Holbrook Hollows in Bainbridge. So for those of you that are interested, if you take a look at that, the hope is and the goal of this agreement is that they'll be constructing that. First 2 years will be basically clearing of the land, removing invasive species, new plantings, new trails, some improvements along those lines. And then ultimately the parks will be working to secure grant funding to build this facility. We do have a clause in there that if a facility is not built by the end of 2031, the Metro Parks will agree to pay us the current value of that property, which is valued at $311,000. So if ultimately that doesn't happen, and it is not the intent for that not to happen, I fully believe we'll be seeing that facility constructed soon. But we do have protection there to where if it isn't, Bedford does get recouped for the value of that land. The other thing that is important is outlined in the agreement, the parks fully is supporting our project of connecting the downtown district to the Bedford Reservation with the pedestrian trail that we talk about down Willis, which will then go through Viaduct Park and construct the bridge over by the falls. So the park is completely behind that initiative, and that is also outlined in this agreement. I think it's this is a win-win for both. I think we expand that area and we provide a space that is can be enjoyed by everybody in Bedford and visitors. Not that homes wouldn't be nice there, but you know, a small amount of people can enjoy that space. We want something that our entire community can enjoy.
Thank you. Can I have a motion for first reading by Spinks, second by Janutus? Call the roll, please.
Spinks?
Yes.
Janutus?
Yes.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Asbury?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes.
Cochee?
Yes. Ordinance number 42-23.
To authorize a contract for the purchase of, a contract with Valley Truck Centers for the purchase of one 2024 Ford utility truck for the water department and declaring an emergency.
Motion for suspension by Smith, second by Asbury. Call the roll, please.
Spinks?
Yes.
Janutus?
Yes.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Asbury?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes.
Cochee?
Yes. Motion for third and final by Fluharty, second by Janutus. Mike?
Mr. Mayor, this purchase of this utility truck for the water department was budgeted for 2023. I will point out that this is purchased through the state bid cooperative agreement. However, which Valley Truck does have the state bid. The quote that we did receive in October when we were going through our budget process was $20,000 less than the quote that Valley Ford is providing now, which is, we're moving forward with this purchase. So it did go up, and we'll have to adjust our budget accordingly, but this is a much needed piece of equipment, and again, budgeted for this year.
Call the roll, please.
Spinks?
Yes.
Janutus?
Yes.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Asbury?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes.
Cochee?
Yes. Resolution number 2600-23.
Authorizing the city manager to accept the proposal of Pat Flowers for long line striping and pavement marking of streets in the city and declaring an emergency.
You read the wrong number.
Did I say resolution? Oh, I'm sorry, I jumped ahead one.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Let's go back. Ordinance number 43-23.
That was the authorizing the city manager to accept the proposal of Pat Flowers for long line striping and pavement marking of streets in the city and declaring an emergency.
Motion for suspension, Saunders, second by Asbury. Call the roll, please.
Spinks?
Yes.
Janutus?
Yes.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Asbury?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes.
Cochee?
Yes. Motion for third and final by Spinks, second by Fluharty.
City, annually, we get quotes to have the long lines and our transition lines striped throughout town. We did receive those quotes. Pat Flowers did come in as the lowest, most responsive bidder, or quote, I shouldn't say, not bid, and our recommendation is to go forward with them.
Call the roll, please.
Spinks?
Yes.
Janutus?
Yes.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Asbury?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes.
Cochee?
Yes. Now we have resolution number 2600-23.
A resolution approving and accepting the proposed 2023 tax budget for the year January 1st, 2024 to December 31st, 2024, and declaring an emergency.
It's our wish to put that on first reading. Can I have motion for such by Spinks, second by Janutus? Someone?
Thank you, Mayor. So this is what we do annually. Guessing this allows the county auditor to set the property tax rate for next year. Our rate's 21.7 mils. This was passed back in 2009, and it doesn't change until we do that again, but I don't know when that would be. But failure to pass this tax budget would eliminate the property tax revenue, and it's pretty important. Passing the tax budget also allows us to receive the undivided local government revenue assistance fund, and also it allows us to get a certificate of estimated resources, which will limit the amount that the council can appropriate for the year for 2024. Doesn't appropriate money, we're gonna do that process later in the year.
Thank you. Call the roll, please.
Spinks?
Yes.
Janutus?
Yes.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Asbury?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes.
Cochee?
Yes. Resolution number 2601-23.
A resolution declaring the necessity to improve certain streets in the city of Bedford by lighting the same and declaring an emergency.
Okay, it's our wish to put that on first reading. Can I have a motion for such by Saunders, second by Asbury?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. This is in conjunction with the tax budget. This simply is just a resolution to request the county to advance us the tax monies next year. Instead of waiting till March for the first allotment, we would get it in January and February, and then the final one in March, and the same for the second half of the year.
Thank you. Call the roll, please.
Spinks?
Maybe we had the wrong one. Did I,
You read the wrong one.
2601.
she was correct, for being a resolution requesting the county auditor to advance taxes from the proceeds of tax levies for the year 2022 collected in 2020, or I should say 2023, and collected in 2024 pursuant to section number 321-34 of the Ohio Revised Code of the State of Ohio, and declaring an emergency. That was my bad, I jumped one ahead. Sorry, guys. Her explanation was correct, though, that we're asking the county to advance the taxes to, which we're entitled to do, and if we don't do this, we don't get it till the end of the year, so they trust that we're gonna collect taxes, so they're willing to give us an advance, basically, because they know they'll get their money in the end.
Call the roll.
Spinks?
Yes.
Janutus?
Yes.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Asbury?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes.
Cochee?
Yes. Now, resolution number 2602-23.
This is the one I read previously, a resolution declaring the necessity to improve certain streets in the city of Bedford by lighting the same. It sounds silly, but we have to pass these resolutions saying that it's necessary in order to assess for the costs. So this is the first step in the process.
Again, we want to do this on first reading. Can I have a motion for such by Fluharty, second by Spinks? As he said, this is just for our street lighting. We do this every year. Call the roll, please.
Spinks?
Yes.
Janutus?
Yes.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Asbury?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes.
Cochee?
Yes. Ordinance number 44-23.
Now that we've said it's necessary, we now have an ordinance to determine to proceed with the improvements of certain streets in the city of Bedford by lighting the same and declaring an emergency.
Again, we want to put that on first reading. A motion for such by Saunders, second by Smith. Call the roll, please.
Spinks?
Yes.
Janudis,
Yes.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Asbury?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes.
Now, ordinance number 45-23.
So now that we said it's necessary and we decided to proceed, we now can levy special assessments for the improvement of the street and public places of the city of Bedford by lighting the same in accordance with the resolution number 260223 and ordinance number 4423, the two prior pieces of legislation, and declaring an emergency.
And again, we want to put this on first reading. I have a motion for such by Smith, second by Asbury. Call the roll, please.
Spinks?
Yes.
Janudis,
Yes.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Asbury?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes.
Cochee?
Yes. And resolution number 2603-23.
Which is a resolution declaring the necessity of assessing the expense for garbage and refuse collections, recycling and disposal within the city of Bedford, and certifying to the county auditor the cost due the city of Bedford for garbage and rubbish collections and declaring an emergency.
Our wish again to put this on first reading, and a motion for such by Spinks, second by Janudis. Jennifer?
Let's go over really briefly here. Be a first reading here. This, we're not changing the rates from last year. Last year, we did raise the rates to $18 for single-family residential unit, $36 for a two-dwelling residential unit, and $54 for a three-family residential unit, that is per month. And there's no need to change the rates at this time, and we just needed to pass this, so that we can certify it to the tax bills.
Thank you. Call the roll, please.
Spinks?
Yes.
Janudis,
Yes.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Asbury?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes.
Cochee?
Yes. Now we come to the hearing of citizens. If you wish to speak, please come forward, state your name, your address, and your comment.
Hello, Council. My name is Austin Reed, 764 Wellman. I wanted to come tonight to publicly express my dissent for a recent position Council came to in opposing changes to Bedford's animal ordinance to allow the citizens the ability to keep and maintain chickens. Throughout sitting in the meeting, I wondered when was that law passed. But I want to thank and commend the two members who understand the fundamental issue at hand. We share common opinions that citizens should generally be afforded abilities to make decisions that best suit their own interests. I believe the right to keep chickens may come with appropriate duties that the citizen has to uphold to keep safety and health concerns at bay. A compromise between liberty and the obligations the issue will raise can be made. But the refusal to act means no compromise can be made. This leaves the citizen with an important decision: to submit to the city's will and forgo the values chickens may bring them, to violate the ordinance and risk legal consequences if the city spends resources in pursuit of the violations, or move out of Bedford. I don't believe any of these possibilities are warranted, as a compromise could and should be made. To the members that oppose this issue, I ask, move forward in discussion and write the risks that you believe the issue poses into the law as conditions. And to the citizens of Bedford, advocating for the chickens, continue to fight, continue to bring awareness, and continue to have your voice heard at all times. Disappointed more people don't show up regularly. It seems like they care an awful lot, but I'll say for the record that they should come out and protest their ask of council. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Hearing none, motion for adjournment by Smith, second by Asbury. Call the roll, please.
Spinks,
Yes.
Janudis,
Yes.
Fluharty,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Asbury,
Yes.
Saunders,
Yes.
Cochee.